Running intervals is an incredibly time-efficient way to improve your performance and your health. So let's have a look in this video at how and when we should add these into your training. So intervals are one of your quality sessions, and they are an incredible stimulus to create adaptation energy in your body. And this is not only for speed, it's also going to be for your running form, setting your paces, and also your mental resilience, because an interval session is difficult to get through. So it's a really good quality session, and we want to try and get at least one of these in a week, along with some rest days, some easy days, and probably a long run day. So intervals being a really good stimulus for the body to tell it to adapt, this is really useful to put into our training. However, as we discussed in the how to run intervals video, not every interval session is the same, because you can have longer intervals that are a little bit slower, or you can have really short intervals that are absolutely flat out, and these are a slightly different stimulus. So what we want to do with this is make sure that we're being really efficient and clear to our body with what stimulus we're after. The reason for this is that the body is incredibly good at adapting to a specific stimulus. So this is where our intervals come in. If we say we're gonna do some flat out intervals, then really stick to that and make sure that you go out with a full focus to hit that interval session exactly as it should be, and your body will respond positively towards this. So you might think that's great, okay, but I want to do multiple interval sessions because I'm racing 5Ks, but I'm also training for a marathon. So I want to be quick, but I also want to have a lot of endurance. And intervals are really useful for endurance as well. And you're thinking, well, what if I'm not sending a clear signal to my body? Well, what you want to do is on each individual session, you want to send a clear signal. However, across your training week, you can mix up the stimulus, and this will help your body improve because we've got lots of heart rate zones and they all need improving. So using a different interval session will be very useful. And one way we can do this is by blocking our training. By blocking our training, what we're doing is we're essentially chunking it down into smaller blocks, let's say 4 weeks. And this might work with a 3-week build and then 1 week of recovery. And within this block, you might say, well, I've got a 5K at the end of next month, so this block I really want to work on my speed. So you might go for shorter, faster intervals, and you'll be sending a really clear signal to your body by doing that session twice a week. So you may also find that you've got races close together, so you're saying, right, well, for this block I really want to work on my top end speed, but I also need to work on my endurance and my lactate threshold because I've got a half marathon coming up as well. So you could say, right, well, on a Monday we're going to do our flat out intervals. Tuesday we're going to take a rest day, Wednesday we're going to have an easy day, and then Thursday we're going to do some longer intervals just above threshold to try and push that lactic acid. Okay, so you've got that VOBLA, which is the onset of blood lactate accumulation, and sitting just above threshold is going to tackle that, and that's going to be really useful for a half marathon, whereas some 30-second sprints are going to be really useful for pushing at the end of a 5K. But as long as you separate these in your week and make sure that each session is really clear, then that's going to send an amazing stimulus to your body, which it's going to adapt to incredibly well. You don't just have to mix it up with intervals, you can also throw in some tempo runs, or you could do some hill repeats. Anything that's a quality session is going to be really useful for your adaptation to the training. So you can see that there's loads of ways you can implement intervals into your training, and they are so useful. And that goes the same for fartlek training, tempo runs, hill repeats, long run day. All these different types of training are really useful. If you want to find out a little bit more about scheduling your weekly training, look at the video when you should use a tempo run in your training that's on my YouTube channel, and that will be really helpful for scheduling out each week and putting the quality sessions in along with rest and recovery. So if you're still on the fence about interval training, then you should definitely click this video here, which will show you why it's so amazing. And if you also want to know how to do an interval session, then click this video down here. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when I upload. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below. I love getting back to you. I'll see you in the next one.